Welcome, everyone. Today's free chart webinar is with Wisetail, and it's called Smarter, Faster, Stronger: 5 AI Tactics to Maximize L&D Impact and Capacity. Welcome, Even and Tracy.
Thank you so much, Tara. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am Even Melick. I'm the VP of Product here at Wisetail, and I'm really excited to be here with you today. I have had the privilege of working with Chart over the years. Just last year, I attended my very first in-person Chart in Chicago, and I spoke during Chart Talks. So thrilled to be back with you all again. It feels really great to dig into a topic that is reshaping how we all work. I think we all at this point have been inundated with AI information. I'm also very excited to introduce you to my colleague with me today.
Thanks, Even. Hi, everyone. I am Tracy LeMieux. I am the Vice President of Marketing for Intertek People Assurance, which is the division of Intertek that's focused entirely on helping organizations build confident and capable frontline teams. And Wisetail is a major, major part of that mission. So I work super closely with the product and customer teams there and how we support learning, operations, and performance really across the restaurant and hospitality world. And I know it might seem a bit unusual to have someone in marketing here today, but the truth is that marketing and L&D teams live very, very similar lives. We are both supporting large, busy teams with our small but mighty internal teams and limited time. We both create lots of content, manage updates, and really try to get the right message into the right hands at the exact right moment. And so this is why I'm passionate about AI. It has truly become one of the most practical ways for small teams to get more done. And that's true whether you sit in marketing, training, or operations. So today we're here to share a point of view on AI that's really grounded in real work, what's practical and what's realistic, and what will help L&D leaders really empower their people.
So that is what we want to talk about today. We are not going to talk theory or rhetoric or big tech trends, although all of you know I'm a product person, so I'm happy to talk about that anytime offline. Just let me know. But what we really want to do is dig into how AI can help you today, this minute, and practical ways that will actually help lighten your workload, amplify your team, and create more time and space for the strategy and growth I know we're all after.
Exactly, because for L&D leaders in hospitality and restaurants, it's not about that futuristic tech. It's about solving the problems that are in front of us today. High turnover, creating consistency, and that team capacity that we're always solving for.
Over the next 40-ish minutes or so, we'll dive into 5 simple tactical ways that you can use AI. Some of you might be doing pieces and parts of it in different capacities in your jobs today. Some of you may be brand new to it. Wherever you're starting, hopefully these examples will help you go further faster. We will share some prompts, tools, and a quick reference takeaway that you are able to use after this session, preferably this afternoon.
Mhm.
So, what I really want to do is start with a little bit of a reality check. Every L&D leader that I talk with, some of you, in fact, on this call I've talked with, says something along these lines. I either need 10 more of me or 10 more hours in the day. So if that sounds familiar to you, you are definitely not alone. Expectations have never been higher. You're being asked to deliver faster, show measurable results, and somehow do it all without adding headcount or budget. You are juggling large and small initiatives and day-to-day execution, building programs, rolling out updates, handling compliance, onboarding new hires, all while keeping your teams engaged and your operations running smoothly. Most days, that means spending just as much time in the weeds as you do driving your work forward. That is really the reality we all live in. And that's why AI has become such a powerful conversation in L&D right now. When we talk about AI in this context, we're not talking about something futuristic or far off. It's practical, everyday kind of AI that helps you take back your time, handling admin tasks, building first drafts, and helping you work more efficiently so you can continue refining, celebrating, and amplifying the work your team already does really, really well. You do not have to be an AI expert to start using it effectively. I know I'm not. You just need to know where it can make the biggest difference for your team. And that is the point of today. AI should support you, not sidetrack you. It should simplify what's messy, make your processes smoother, and give you more room to think, to plan, and to drive the initiatives that strengthen your programs and your teams.
And we're already seeing that shift happen across learning and development, even for all of us who are not AI experts. To put this into perspective, let's look at some data points. Across the industry, adoption is growing really fast. But what's even more interesting is what we're hearing directly at Wisetail from L&D leaders like you. 80% of our community said AI has already saved them real time and effort at work. 80%, that's incredible. And when we asked where they see the biggest opportunity, half said faster content creation and updates. And these numbers tell a story that we all recognize. Teams are stretched thin. Time is the biggest obstacle to impact. And that's what we're talking about today, turning that opportunity into action. So think of today like your AI playbook, 5 things you can start doing now, this afternoon, like Even said, to make your team more efficient, your programs more scalable, and ultimately your results more visible to the business. And no need to take notes today because, again, this will be recorded and we have an absolutely fantastic resource for you to take away after this event. So should we jump into the first tactic, Even?
This is what people signed up to hear about, Tracy. Here we go.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about something every L&D leader can relate to. The time it takes to turn raw information, sort of thoughts in your head, maybe a note jotted on a piece of paper, and turning that into actual training materials. Most of us have the information we need. It's in a document somewhere, an email, a policy, but turning those into something usable by the front line can take hours. It's necessary work that clogs your day and takes away from some of the more strategic work. This is where AI can make a big difference. Instead of manually creating every file, use it as a structure builder. You can feed it raw content, transcripts, notes, and ask it to create the first draft of a framework. You can review it and refine it, and that's where the magic happens. It is still your expertise, just faster. The goal here isn't to create new learning formats from scratch. That's what you all do on a day-to-day basis. This one is about turning repetitive admin tasks into repeatable workflows. You might be wondering, and you probably are, what this actually looks like in practice. Tracy, can you enlighten us?
Absolutely. The key is really in how you guide the AI. So start with your AI of choice. It doesn't matter. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whichever you've already started dabbling in. Upload your content, paste in a section you want to work with, and use a prompt like the one on the screen. You'll get a full draft in seconds, and then you can continue to refine. Keep asking AI for follow-ups, like format this as a checklist for managers, export this as a CSV for LMS upload, tighten formatting, adjust tone, add your branding elements. And once it's ready, upload it into your LMS. And if your LMS has built-in AI tools like Wisetail, even better. You can auto-generate quizzes, flashcards directly from that file. More on this later in the webinar today. But this is a quick, seamless workflow that saves you from rebuilding content manually each and every time.
I love that. But I think we need a real world example. So if we think about two-person hotel training team, anyone on this call familiar with a two-person team? I'm sure a lot of you are. They took a 25-page housekeeping SOP and turned it into a 15-question quiz and digital checklist in under an hour. Before AI, that same process took them nearly 2 days. AI turns repetitive, time-consuming admin work into quick, consistent workflows so your team can focus on strategy, growth, and the people who make the biggest difference. So we finished with tactic 1. I'm sure there's another tactic because 5 are on the table today.
You are right, Even. So we've talked about how creating content is a huge lift, but once it's built, you still have to track it, you have to report on it, and you have to make sense of all that data that comes with it. Every week brings a new round of reports, completion data, compliance updates, engagement metrics. You pull numbers from one system, you paste them into another, and then you have to spend time figuring out what they actually mean. It's time consuming, and let's be honest, data can feel overwhelming. Most of us aren't sitting around excited to run VLOOKUPs. I know I'm not, and I get scared at the mention of a VLOOKUP. But we need them to understand what happened last week, and that's where AI steps in. It goes through the data for you. It surfaces insights that matter, and it can even build visuals so you don't have to fight with Excel formulas. It takes you out of the spreadsheet and into actual understanding, which for me is just a dream.
Oh gosh, I wish I'd had this years and years and years ago. But the really great part is you do not have to overhaul your processes to do this. You can build it right into the systems that you already use. Start by exporting your weekly or monthly training data. Maybe that's from your LMS, a Google Sheet, or Excel. Open a tool like ChatGPT, Claude, Microsoft Copilot, your AI tool of choice. Drop that data in with a prompt like is the one shown on the screen here, which again, you will get access to. And within seconds, literally seconds, you'll get a clear summary that surfaces patterns you might otherwise miss. If you're already working inside Excel, you can stay right there and ask for quick visuals or callouts. So show me 3 locations with the lowest completion rates, or create a simple bar chart showing month over month compliance improvements. You can also have it help you draft an insight email for managers with a prompt like, summarize this report for my location managers. And if you want to go a step further, you can use a workflow tool like Zapier, Make, or Power Automate to automatically pull those reports each week, drop them into your AI assistant. That way, the insights come to you ready to review, share, or discuss with your team.
And here's what this can look like in practice. A franchise training manager was spending most of her Mondays in spreadsheets, dum dum dum, pulling data from 60 stores, cleaning it up, trying to figure out which locations needed attention. And by the time the reports were ready, she barely had time left to even act on what she found. Now, she exports that same data into AI each week. The AI highlights the key insights, flags the outliers. It even drafts quick summaries managers can use with their teams. What used to take half a day now happens before her first cup of coffee. And AI doesn't just make reporting faster, it makes it more meaningful. So it's not about replacing analysis, it's about surfacing those insights faster so you can focus on action instead of spinning around in row after row of Excel.
Gosh, I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's shift gears just a little bit and talk about something most of us wish we had more time for: keeping content fresh. You already have a library full of great material, videos, slide decks, SOPs, PDFs. The problem isn't lack of content, it's that much of our lives live in long formats that aren't easy for learners to digest or revisit later. So what happens? Someone uploads a 45-minute video or a 30-slide presentation, and it just sits there. Learners might engage once, but it's not built for quick refreshers or micro learning moments that actually stick. It's really not built for today's learner. Instead of starting from scratch, you can use AI to take those long, valuable pieces of content and reshape them into shorter, more engaging formats really, really quickly. That might mean turning a recorded training into flashcards, a quick video script, or a short quiz that reinforces key takeaways. And the best part is you are not reinventing the wheel. You're reusing what you already have in new high impact ways. Tracy, how do you think teams could start doing this today?
This one is easy to try, and you can do it with content sitting on your desktop right now that you've been trying to find time to update. Take a training file, a PowerPoint deck, drop it into AI, and then prompt it with something like, turn this Shift Leader PowerPoint into a 3-minute onboarding script. You'll have a short, easy to be this long formal training. And from there, you can create a few different versions of that same content. Bullet points that you can drop into a course in your LMS, voiceover for a short video, a flashcard set you can import into something like Quizlet or Wisetail. And you can even get more specific. If you have a restaurant SOP that's pages upon pages long, try a prompt like this. This is a restaurant SOP on food safety. Summarize key learning points and then write 5 questions that test understanding. Reformat it into a quick micro-learning outline, an intro, 3 key takeaways, a short quiz, and a 1-minute video idea. Once you have these new materials, upload them into Wisetail or your LMS and get them in front of learners quickly and easily. And what's really neat is that if you're using Wisetail's built-in AI, you can skip a few of those steps entirely. It can generate summaries, tests, flashcards from your content right inside the LMS. So you're creating these new training pieces in formats that meet today's learners where they are without jumping from system to system. It's a really simple way to take what you already have and turn it into content that's relevant and engaging for your learners.
That is a really great example, and it's really exactly the kind of thing we're seeing across hospitality and restaurant teams right now. Many training teams have libraries full of product knowledge PDFs, long, detailed, and valuable, but not exactly something that a new hire can easily absorb during a busy shift. The content's solid, it's just locked inside formats that aren't built for how people learn today. By using AI to break that content down into short, mobile-friendly quiz cards and micro-learning refreshers, teams are transforming how their employees engage with training. What used to be 20 pages of text becomes bite-sized, interactive learning that fits right into the flow of work. The result is faster onboarding, stronger retention, and learning that sticks. Your best content already exists. AI just helps you reuse it faster and in the formats your learners actually engage with.
Completely agree, even. And let's talk about something every L&D leader knows all too well. Content gets created, content gets uploaded, and then it slowly disappears into the library. You build great resources, but once they're published, they're so hard to find again, especially for frontline employees who don't have time to dig through folders during a lunch rush or between shifts. And it's not just search. Keeping an accurate inventory of what you have, what's outdated, and what needs a refresh becomes nearly impossible when the system isn't organized in a consistent way. And without clear tags, summaries, or structure, even your best content gets buried. And when people can't find what they need, adoption drops, questions pile up, and ultimately performance slows. But with AI, you can generate summaries, titles, search tags, recommended categories, and help you map out a logical structure to your content library. It even makes it easier to review what's in your current inventory so you can keep things relevant. It makes your content library, which once was a really static archive, into something living, searchable, and genuinely useful in the moment. Even, can you walk us through what this looks like?
You know, Tracy, I'm just going to sound really repetitive here because I'm going to tell you this is actually a lot easier than you might think.
I love to hear it.
It probably the audience does too.
Mhm.
So really, you just start by taking that one piece of content, whether it's a video, a PDF, or even a long training document, drop it into Chat or Claude, and then use a simple prompt like summarize this video in 5 bullet points. Write one sentence title and give me 10 search tags a restaurant employee might use to find it. In seconds, you'll get a clear, concise summary that you can add right into your LMS or shared drive metadata. If you're already working in Google Docs or Notion, you can use their built-in AI features to tag and summarize existing assets automagically. Yes, I said automagically because there's some sort of magic that happens in these processes. And
We
if
know
you're
AI
using
is
an
magic.
it is magic. And if you're using an LMS with integrated AI like Wisetail or a tool like SharePoint Copilot, you can take it even further by letting the system analyze and categorize the content for you. It's a step that can make a huge difference in how quickly your teams find what they need. And we know that every moment matters.
Okay, a real example of that. A training manager at a multi-unit restaurant group had hundreds of training videos and guides saved in their LMS. Everything from food safety procedures to allergen training. The problem was no one could ever find what they needed when they needed it. Servers were digging through folders or messaging managers to find a single policy. And so she started using AI to generate short summaries and search tags for every piece of content, including all of their allergen policy videos. So now when a server gets a question about gluten, they can simply search that word in the LMS, pull up the right clip instead of scrolling through endless folders. It's a really small change, but it's had a huge impact on efficiency and confidence for the teams. AI is there to help your employees find what already exists. By improving the structure, tagging, and discoverability, you can turn your content library into that living resource that we talked about instead of this static, unsearchable archive.
Tracy, we have talked about 4 tactics so far, but I know we promised 5. So, you ready to talk about our last tactic?
I'm so ready.
Yeah. So I think this is something that is particularly near and dear to most L&D leaders' hearts, accessibility. We want to make sure all of our content is accessible for every single learner and employee and manager that works in our organization. Creating the learning that's truly inclusive does take time. Your videos need to be captioned, images described, content translated. But when you are working on a small team, you don't always get to those tasks as well intentioned as you are. Not because you don't care, because we know you do. There just aren't enough hours in the day sometimes. So, I know no one's going to be able to guess what I'm about to say now. AI can help. You can use AI to handle the foundational tasks that often get delayed. Things like writing alt text, generating captions, or translating materials. For example, if you are working with a training video, you can use AI to create the transcript, run the text through a second pass to clean it up, and translate it to another language. It's not about adding another project to your plate. It's about building accessibility into the way you already work so inclusion becomes effortless. Tracy, how about you tell us what it looks like in practice?
And when it comes to accessibility, even the key really is to build it into your process. You can't tack it on at the end. And one of the easiest ways to start is by thinking about quick wins, the small, repeatable tasks that make the biggest difference, generating captions, writing alt text, or translating materials. And so here's a prompt you can try. You are an accessibility expert. Write concise, accurate alt text for this video, describing the steps in the recipe suitable for training, and translate it into Spanish. You can do this for videos, images, or even written content. AI tools are great for polishing and translating, while transcription platforms like Descript, Kaping, or Otter AI can automate the first step, creating transcripts or captions. And once you've generated your alt text, your captions, your translated versions, upload them into Wisetail or your LMS to make sure that every learner has access. Through Wisetail's AI capabilities, you can even create captions and alt text inside the platform. So making inclusion part of your workflow becomes natural instead of an extra step. And it's that simple way to make learning more accessible, which I know we're all passionate about.
So if we think about a practical example of this, small training team for a large hospitality group really wanted to make their content more inclusive, but didn't have the extra time or budget to hire specialists and localization experts. Their videos needed captions, their visuals needed alt text, and they had a growing number of multilingual team members who weren't being fully supported by the existing materials. So they started small, using AI to caption all of their safety training videos, running those transcripts through ChatGPT, and then have them translated to Spanish. Within a week, they'd made their entire training library accessible to every learner without adding hours of production time or outsourcing the work. Accessibility doesn't have to be a huge initiative or a separate project. AI helps you make inclusion part of your everyday workflow so every learner in every location can access the same experience without extra effort on your part.
So that's it. That's the 5 tactics. And now let's take a look at how all of this shows up from a real client example. One of my favorites, Bagel Brands, which is the company behind Einstein Brothers, Bruegger's Bagels, Noah's, Manhattan Bagel. They support over 1,000 locations and 16,000 team members. And their L&D team, 2 people. They are the definition of small but mighty, and they are a perfect example of how this lean team can really deliver enterprise level results. The team was tasked with rebuilding their shift leader training program. They needed something that looked and felt modern, high quality video, strong messaging, and visuals that matched the energy of their brands. But like a lot of L&D teams, they did not have the time, budget, production resources to make that happen in a traditional way. So they started by using GPT to refine their training scripts. They took existing material that had really excellent information but needed a little polish, and they let AI help rework it into a clearer, more engaging script that connected with their learners. And once those scripts were ready, they turned to AI video generation platform Synthesia to bring those words to life. Using Synthesia's AI video creation tools, they produced professional quality videos with realistic voiceover and on-screen presenters, with no cameras, no studio time, no editing backlog. And because of the Wisetail and Synthesia partnership, they were able to take those finished videos and publish them straight into Wisetail, pairing each with quizzes and interactive elements to reinforce those key concepts. And now everything from video creation to deployment to tracking lives in that one connected workflow.
I love this example so much because the results actually speak for themselves. This two-person team, again, two people, produced their entire shift leader training program in just a couple of days at a fraction of the cost and effort it would have taken with traditional video production. The program rolled out across all 4 brands and immediately started gaining traction. In the first 4 months alone, it saw more than 30,000 views and nearly 1,900 completions, with a 4.8 out of 5 rating from learners. And we all know those ratings are hard to achieve. What's even more impressive is the feedback they received. Shift leaders said the training made them feel more confident stepping into their roles and better prepared to lead their teams. They also saw higher ratings in food safety, improved manager skills, proof that learning doesn't just stick. It made a difference in how people performed. And that, all of my friends on this call and listening to this webinar, is what this whole conversation has been about. AI amplifying small teams, giving them the speed, the flexibility, and the creative capacity to do more with the same resources.
Exactly. It's such a good example of how those small teams can create enterprise level results when they know how to put AI to use.
Honestly, that is what we are focused on at Wisetail, helping teams do exactly that. Everything we've talked about today, using AI to save time, make learning more accessible, and work smarter, is the same approach that we're taking. We know our clients are facing the same realities: small teams, big goals, and constant pressure to deliver more without gaining headcount. So, when we think about AI at Wisetail, it's not about creating something flashy or futuristic. It's about creating tools that amplify what teams already do, making everyday work faster, easier, and more human. Our philosophy is simple: smarter, practical, trustworthy AI. That means designing features that fit naturally into existing workflows, not adding another tool to manage, and enhancing the tool you already rely on.
And I think this shows up in really practical ways. In Wisetail's AI, in Wisetail, AI makes every word in a PDF searchable, a simple but really miraculous feature. So finding that right information takes seconds instead of minutes, and it can automatically generate image and media descriptions to make that content more accessible. These are both examples of really small changes, but they make a huge difference in the day-to-day experiences for our learners. One of my favorite additions in Wisetail is the ability to transform existing documents into interactive assessments, flashcards, quizzes, right inside the LMS. So no exporting, no extra tools, just faster and smarter ways to engage your teams.
At the end of the day, it's about balance. We're committed to using AI responsibly, built on trusted technology with safeguards for accuracy, security, and data protection. This isn't about changing how people learn. It's about supporting the people who make learning possible. For us, AI is simply the next evolution of how we help teams scale learning, performance, and growth without losing the human touch that's at the heart of it all. And that really brings us full circle. Everything we've talked about today ties back to one idea, using AI to amplify people. So let's take a moment, just a moment, to recap those 5 tactics we covered today and talk about how you can start putting them into action immediately.
Yeah, let's bring it back to the big picture. Every tactic we walk through comes back to that one idea. AI gives you time back. Time you used to spend creating content from scratch, time you used to spend pulling reports, formatting data, time that you used to spend trying to make knowledge easier to access, and time you used to spend translating content or making it accessible. These are absolutely important tasks. They are critical, but they are not the work that grows your people or strengthens your team. And so AI is not here to extend the expert. AI is here to extend the expertise that you in learning and development are already bringing. And so if you take one thing from today, let it be this: AI is your capacity multiplier. It helps your small teams move fast, stay focused, and really get to the strategic work that we all rarely have time for.
Our challenge to you is this, and to be honest, we are challenging ourselves with the same. Try one of these tactics. Pick it, just one, any one, and test it in your day-to-day work and see what changes. Start small, stay curious, and remember, you don't have to be an AI expert. You just need to explore where it can make the biggest difference for your team. And please, please do share how it goes. Connect with us on LinkedIn. We love to hear what you're experimenting with, what works for your organization, and what kind of impact you're seeing. Thank you all for joining us today and being part of this conversation. We truly hope you're walking away with ideas that you can put into action right away.
Yeah, thanks so much, everyone. We'll take any questions you had now. But if you have to drop, remember, small teams, big impact. That's really what AI makes possible.
So, we have one question that I see so far. Tracy, you want to take it?
Yeah,
Or,
if
or
someone,
do you want me to ask it and then you can decide?
no, I got it. If someone's just getting started with AI, what is the best first step? That is a great, great question. So start with something small that solves that real pain point. So turning that long document into a short quiz, having AI summarize that training report. You'll build confidence. AI seems scary. So you just need to try these quick wins first. And once you've done that, it becomes easier to identify that next use case or that next area that moves the needle for your team. AI really has a snowball effect, and you just have to get started and the snowball will start rolling.
Apt analogy since it's winter time
Exactly.
here in the northern US. Here's a really great question, and I think this is on a lot of people's minds, and I think it's in the news a lot right now. So, how do you make sure AI generated content still feels authentic and aligns with companies' culture? I think that one is near and dear to my heart because we all have a certain voice, our organizations have a certain point of view, and our brand needs to be represented in everything that we do. And AI sometimes has a tendency to not necessarily follow that tone or brand guidance. So our recommendation is really using AI for curation and not full automation. So the heavy lifting part, so structuring, drafting, simplifying, getting pen to paper is where AI can really support you. Where your expertise and your value lies is on that refinement piece, is making sure that you are giving it the final once over to align to brand guidelines. You can feed an AI tool your brand guidelines and make sure that you share your voice and values. So I think one of the pieces, Tracy, that oftentimes gets overlooked is sending your final product through AI because it's a large language model, right? And so it's constantly learning. So after all of your revisions, and even if you tell it, no, this is completely wrong, it will learn from those experiences. And so you will continue to get results that more closely align with what you're looking for.
Exactly. And I think that that leads up to it looks like the final question we have, which is common mistakes you see teams make when they first start. And like even was just talking about, the biggest one really is expecting perfection right out of the gate. AI is only as good as the prompts, as the context, as it's learning over time. So you really do have to approach it like you're training a new team member. It takes time, it takes guidance, it takes specificity and patience from you. But once you find the rhythm, it becomes just a really, really great partner in your workflow. And I know that I am talking to ChatGPT all day long now, and it really is a partner in a way. I
So
think
it's
that
amplified your team,
it
Tracy,
sure
right?
has. Yep, it sure has. Well, even thank you so much for taking the time to do this together today. It was fun.
It was fun. I hope there are some key takeaways that are put into practice. And again, connect with us. We'd love to hear how it's going.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.